Hello, Abigail here with another pick a pile reading. This is another detailed love reading, but this one includes not just single folks, but it will include people in situationships or kind of in the process of getting to know someone, and also partnered folks. The first portion of the reading is for everyone. It'll be these three piles. We'll talk about you, we'll talk about your partner or your future partner, and we'll talk about the quality of the relationship. Then we will break into another set of parts and we will have the single section, we will have the situationship dating section, and we will have like the long-term partnered section. Um, and you can pick any one of those. They're not going to be attached to a specific reading. This is about you using your intuition to find the reading that is most aligned with who you are and where you are in life currently. So buckle up. I will go through each pile so we can pick them. All the other piles will have symbols attached to them, and you can pick whatever symbol resonates, or you can even just go down the line and like pick the first of this reading, and then pick the first of the singles or the first of the partnered ones. I am currently actively deciding whether to do two or three piles for the pick a pile because it is a lot and it makes for a very long recording. But we shall see. Join me on this mystery journey. But to get into these piles where we're going to talk about you and the quality of the relationship and the other person, starting off, pile number one has this beautiful malachite stone. This is about growth and change and transformation. If you have ever considered, you know, getting moldavite, I always suggest malachite instead so that you don't completely rip your life up. It's a more grounded kind of version of that immense growth energy. We have citrine here, which is about wealth and abundance and clarity in pile number two. In pile number three, we have this pink moonstone. This is about being in touch with your feelings and listening to your emotions when it comes to making decisions and when it comes to your intuition. Anyways, my dears, I will see you at your next piles and then at the preceding piles after that. Love y'all. See you in a moment. Hello, pile number one. We are at your pile. This is the oracle stack for you, and this is the oracle stack for your person. And this pile is what your relationship is like overall, and what are the themes and some of the stuff you'll be working through. And this is the tarot deck we'll be using to kind of explore all of this. So we're going to set these two to the side. Also, the kind of you section of this is very much an energy check-in. So if these do not feel like you, then listen to your intuition and go pick another pile. But let's get into it, starting with, let's start from the bottom. Selkie, come out of hiding, embrace who you really are. I like that. A selkie is a kind of like a mermaid, but for seals. Basically, they're very beautiful women who are also seals who can transform, and there's a lot of folklore about them, especially in the British Isles and Ireland and Scotland. All right, flexibility. Oh, this is interesting. I also love the colors of this card and the tiger here. Flexibility and disenchantment. You are protected. Ooh, this is really interesting. I'm really liking this for you. It feels like in this moment you are needing to both step into your power, but step into your power in such a way that allows you to shift and grow and become over time. You don't need to be something, but you do need to be. You are becoming, you are shifting, you are changing. It also feels like you might have been experiencing some difficult times. Disenchant is, feels like some of you might even magically have been doing some witchcraft or some spiritual work in order to undo other people's patterns and behaviors. It feels like you might be coming out from under, or something I'm hearing from spirit is coming out from under a spell. So this pile, you all very well might have had an ex who was very charming, or been with a narcissist, or just been with someone that you really loved a lot and they didn't end up being what you hoped. And that's why we're kind of here. And here's the deal: if you are partnered or anything, this could be any time in your past. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, I've been with someone for 10 years. Yeah, but maybe you did have a partner 15 years ago who was like this. But it feels like you've had to go through a process in the past, long period of time, whatever feels long to you, of having to come back into yourself and undo the magic of other people, undo karmic connections, undo karmic ties. And you've had to be really flexible, and you've had to be really fluid in the way that you moved in order to make it through this situation, to make it through the energy you've kind of been forced into. This is definitely a group that has overcome, that has made it from a difficult place or is actively doing it. So at some point you have struggled in relationships. Let's just say that. That's the simple version. With the Selkie, it feels like you're coming through and you're on a healing journey. You are moving and transforming and changing, and it has felt like a lot because it feels like you might be a little overstretched, but all of this has been necessary to get you to where you are for a relationship that is healthy and wholesome, whether you are in one or not. Also, with the disenchant, you might have felt bound to family or a specific friend or a specific partner at some point, and you have done a lot of work to undo that person's power. And now you are moving in a protected way, and you might be feeling, and you might have gone through a lot of phases of feeling isolated and lonely as people kind of, mess with your boundaries and aren't happy with the ways that you're becoming yourself. But there's a real energy of you in this time coming into your power, whether that is actively with a partner or in a moment where you're getting to know someone or as someone who is single and looking for love. You are coming into your power, and the way that you approach love is no longer hiding yourself and keeping yourself small. And with flexibility, I don't think this is lowering your standards. I think this is just broadening the definition of what love means to you, so that you don't feel that the only love is partnered love. Love comes in many different forms, and while this is a love reading, I think you've also started to recognize that there are other ways and places to find love, and this has been really enriching for you, or is a journey you're actively kind of experiencing. With the disenchant, definitely a pile that has had undue harmful influence, and it feels like you have come out of that. You are no longer trapped under the power and the energy of someone whose influence is not to your benefit and is very harmful, and I'm hearing coercive, and also just disempowered. You've been in a lot of situations in the past where you have felt disempowered, but in this moment, you are feeling empowered and strong. With flexibility, do I think everything is going great? Not necessarily, but you are conscious and aware of the choices and decisions that you are making and choosing, and you're refusing to take less. You're refusing to sacrifice parts of yourself in order to get acceptance from others. And um, if this is just an affirmation of your relationship, the person that you are with is absolutely not someone who tries to control who you are. They really appreciate your natural gifts and the way that you innately are. And if you are in any other stages of relationship, the green flag sign is that this person values who you are and doesn't try to tie you to them in unethical ways or force you to do stuff you don't like. This is also a person who, I'm getting a lot of messages already about your partner, or your future partner. And it's like, this is also a person who's, they're never going to force you to be something you're not. And any person who forces you to be something you're not is not the person you should be with. Period, full stop. And that's something Spirit wants to get out of the way early. But let's pull some cards for you, where you are, what's going on, how you're feeling in this moment as we do this reading. We have the Apprentice of Wands, which is the page. This one has been coming up. This is a newer deck for me, and this has been coming up a lot. The Apprentice of Wands is just always present. Justice has also been very present. Must be a collective energy. Oh, also this is a timeless reading. I didn't say that earlier. Justice, Apprentice of Wands, and the Sun. Yeah, this is all about a rebalancing. a reconfiguring of your identity and of who you are. And like I said, you can be at any point in this journey. You can be at the beginning stages, you can be at the end, you can be at the middle. But the time in your life where this reading is finding you is you coming into yourself, is you kind of coming back to basics with your own passions and your own desires and your own goals, and surrendering a bit, which is where this flexibility comes in, to justice, to the universe being like, we need to reframe, reconsider stuff because things have gotten a little off track. And how they've gotten off track is you haven't in the past been able to be yourself. And now we have the sun, and you are actively able to be yourself. You are actively able to be the person you wanted to be, to do things that you've wanted to do. Do I think you're necessarily like fully in like an abundant feeling where you're like, oh, everything's going well? I don't think so for this pile. It does feel like you were definitely in a transitionary phase. I'm hearing extended tower. The tower is a card in the tarot that is like destruction and massive shifts and changes. And while those things are good long term, they're not fun in the moment. And so there is an element here of you really needing to focus on yourself and undoing the work of other people so that you can continue to be yourself. And something about the story of the Selkie is a lot of the Selkie folklore is about human men trapping the Selkie to have access to her power or to her body or to her voice, because the Selkies have beautiful voices. And so there's also an element of you reclaiming your body and your voice and your beauty and your attraction and your sexuality in this moment. And as we're kind of looking at love, regardless of who you're with, or if you're not with someone, or if this is, you're at the opening of something, you have to feel safe being you. You have to be okay being you. And I feel a lot of you have already made this commitment. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, even if you're a really relationship focused person, you're like, I'm not gonna sacrifice or give up parts of myself anymore because it's not worth it and it doesn't work long term. So this whole time, this whole moment for pile number one is about readjusting and getting justice for yourself and the balancing of those scales so that you feel happy and safe in your body and feel happy and safe in not only your romantic relationships but also in your like family and friendships and bosses and colleagues. Like there's a restructuring and a removing of other people's power from your life, which is really beautiful actually. Not easy though. So I sympathize with you there because it's not easy to do this kind of energy work and to really be true to yourself even as you lose people along the way. In order to maintain your autonomy, it does feel like you have lost people, and I appreciate that. That is really hard as someone who has also lost a lot of people, because I refused to um, play into abusive dynamics. So this is very much coming through for this group, and I empathize. But if this feels like you, then this pile is for you. Feels like a very pivotal time in your relationships. Um, I am getting the feeling that this pile might be more for my singles and my kind of situationship dating folks. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not for my long-term folks, but if you are a long-term person, I do wonder about the stability of your long-term relationship based on this, because you're disenchanting, and disenchanting does not bode well for a long-term partner. Could be a fresh long-term partner though, which would be a little different. But listen to your intuition, follow that first. All right, let's look into your partner. So we have ride the wave, life lessons, growth. You will get through this. So your partner is also going through a transformation, but it definitely feels like it's not necessarily a becoming of self. It is them kind of overcoming external hardships. Not that you haven't, but a lot of your hardships have been around your sense of self and who you are and standing up for yourself. And for this person, it very much feels like um, them just going through a rough patch in life that's teaching them a lot of lessons. We also have change. Yep, that backs that up. I do love this deck. It's got such pretty cards. Um, Change, yeah, your future partner, current partner, person you're dating is going through a lot of change. It feels like you're both changing at the same time, which might feel a bit destabilizing in this moment. We also have lost. Yes, yes, yes. Choose joy as your compass. With lost coming in here, it does feel like your future partner is in a moment of kind of like not knowing where the change is. This is someone very much in the middle of change. You're both in a tower moment, but for different reasons. And it feels like your current partner, future partner, whatever, right now is like unsure of where this change is taking them. They're participating, they're actively in it, which is great. It shows someone who's capable of growth. It's very in line with the stone that we've chosen here, which is the malachite, which is also very in line with your energy. And so I think the only tricky part here is that you are also a part of this change and a part of this growth and might be involved in this feeling of ambiguity and loss, which might make your meeting or your current situation a little more tricky and ambiguous. You're both also, it feels like you're both kind of deciding who you want to be and how you want to move going forward. And it's really going to affect your partnership, whether this is brand new or you haven't met yet or you're together. Like, you're both at a big crossroads of whether to choose the other person or not in this moment. I think if you're single and you haven't met anybody, this is your highest self talking. And if you're meeting this person, it might feel a bit unstable because you're both kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do yet. I'm not sure. I'm in the middle of this moment and I can't tell, especially for this other person. They cannot see what is going to come for them. And so they really have to start listening to their intuition, because if they don't listen to their intuition, they could miss out on a great relationship, whether that's with you or with someone else, um, depending on what like axis of change they're at. So there's kind of an element here of like needing to have a bit of grace for your person. Also, I was thinking, because there's numbers on these cards, we have an 8 and a 22 here. 2 is all about choices. 22 is extra choices. And 8 is about perpetuity and perpetual energy and abundance. And so it's interesting. They're having to choose between something, and you're just having to grow exponentially. And so just recognize that your person right now is making a choice. If you are single, this person very much feels like they are making a choice of whether to take the action to meet you or not. With someone, it definitely feels like, if they're deciding whether they're in love with you or not, or whether they want to continue with you. And with this, it really feels as if you are a long-term person, it feels like you are at a crossroads, whether you may or may not choose each other, to be honest. And also, I've been really focusing because I do love to be positive, but I have been really putting an intention into these readings of being as honest as possible and not to sugarcoat stuff, because I think it's not fair for me to only look at the bright side. And so if this is feeling a little more cutthroat than normal, it's because I'm really trying not to soften things too much, because I want to leave a measure of hope, but I also don't want to leave people disappointed because the readings aren't as potent and as exact, which is kind of a fine line that has to be walked with these general readings. So it does feel really unstable in this moment. It feels like neither of you is quite sure where to go. You are very sure of what you don't want, and they are unsure of either one in this moment. We are going to look in the cards to see what else they've got with this change, and maybe if there isn't some kind of grounding in this moment. Ooh, we got the Hanged One. Yes, yes. What grounding? Being hung upside down. We have the Hanged One, which is about sacrificing for a long-term goal. We have the Ace of Cups. Oh, we'll take this one. And we have the Three of Cups. Interesting. So with the Hanged One, the Ace of Cups, and the Three of Cups, this person is almost ready to move into a new phase of their life. However, with the Hanged One, they don't really feel like they have all the information that they need to move forward. And this person might actually be focusing more on their friendships than they are on romance right now. Even if they're with you, they might really be like spending a lot of energy on community and outside groups rather than their one-on-one relationships, partially because they are about to kind of pop out of a chrysalis as a butterfly into a new phase. And so they're kind of pulling back from more romantic stuff in order to get clear with what they want and how they want to move forward. I'm just going to say it. This pile has huge transition energy. So if you are in a big transition, this pile is for you. If you do not feel like you're in a big transition, pick another pile. I know we're so far into it, and I'm like, maybe this isn't for you, but take it as you will. So this person is really focusing on external stuff. I could also see them if they are single or if they're dating, it's more casual. They're not necessarily, they want to find the one, but they're not going to sacrifice their life, or like they're not running their schedule around dating someone. If you are partnered with someone like this, you guys are in a very difficult time in your relationship. Um, just because there's not a whole lot of focus on you guys in this moment. But this relationship is going to, if you guys make the change that is necessary and do, especially this pile, make the choices necessary to come into reunion or into union, this relationship can be really great because you're both so ready for change. Even with this pile with justice, there's kind of an element here of slowing down because you have to recalibrate, whereas they're kind of putting things on hold in order to figure things out. It's like same energy, different way of, well, different energy, kind of same way of going at it, I think. Um, but yeah, let's look at the quality of the relationship in this moment. Um, what this relationship is bringing you or will be bringing you. Um, we have marriage. Okay, so I wouldn't be too worried unless you're already married to this person about this person's indecision, because they will get there eventually. You just might have to be patient. And what the advice from spirit is to focus on yourself at this time while they're figuring themselves out. This is very much a pile and an energy of like they have to choose you and you have to let them choose you or not choose you. Interfering is not going to help. And here's the deal: if you get tired of waiting, then there are other soulmates and other people who are available to you. I do not believe that there are only one soulmate. And because of the way karmic ties work and stuff, some people refuse to participate in fulfilling the karma, and you are free to go find someone else and you'll figure out that shit in another lifetime. But let's look at this. Rosemary, remembrance, loyalty, faithfulness. Okay, so while this currently feels a bit unstable in the moment, when you guys finally commit or recommit, because it feels like you might need to be recommitting for some of you, this is a very, very, very stable relationship for the amount of change you're going into, and it's going to be a huge relief for you. And we also have, it's okay to be misunderstood. Perception is not always based on truth. Yeah, it feels like in the moments you guys might not be on the same page. You might be worried about the other person, or you might be wondering, where is this person if you are single? And in this moment, it's like they are coming, but you all have stuff to do first. We will go into timing into the other piles, more specifically for the singles and the situationships. But in this reading, it's okay to be misunderstood. Also, your person is going to be okay with you being different and allowing yourself to be misunderstood. They're not going to be upset if you like publicly don't agree with someone, or people are like, oh, your partner's a little bit weird, and they're like, and so am I. And the same for you. Like, you are going to be very unique to each other, and the way that you experience connection and even marriage is going to be a bit non-traditional. Like, I think the marriage part might be the only part of this relationship that is traditional. It feels like you don't necessarily subscribe to gender roles, and also these readings are degendered. You know, you could be attracted to any and everybody. You can be any and every gender. But with this remembrance and loyalty and faithfulness, once you guys choose each other, and if you have already chosen each other, you're locked in. Which is why I do wonder if you're struggling in a long-term relationship, if this isn't a different person, or if you aren't just feeling like you haven't been chosen. And the thing is like, if this is the person for you, you will be chosen. You will be their person. There is a long-term trajectory, but it is about both of you having to make active choices to be in this relationship, to participate in this relationship. I also think with marriage, I don't know that it has to necessarily be the legal definition of marriage. This is just a group that is committing to the long term with a long term goal in mind. And I think why this time is so important for both of you is because you are getting clear with what you want and how you want to do it. And when you do finally, I think, feel more cohesive together, you will both have done the work to know what you want, and that is going to line up with the other person's. But that work has to happen first. The kind of understanding of stuff has to happen first. Okay, let's pull for the relationship. What do we have here? We have the Tower. Yes, yes, yes. This relationship is going to change your life, or it has already changed your life. It's one of those relationships that shifts all of the dynamics of the people you're with. Sometimes positively, sometimes you might have to walk away from certain dynamics. We have the Elder of Swords, which is the King of Swords, very decisive group, which is interesting considering how indecisive some of the energy is around both of you, which makes me wonder if you're not in a moment of not having met, not yet committing, or in a bit of disharmony. Now we have the Champion of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords. And so, yeah, and we have the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck here. There's an element here of struggle leading up to you guys meeting, leading up to you guys committing to each other, leading up to you guys taking the next step of commitment if you are already together. There's also an element of you guys needing to be a bit more practical. Like you need to get down to brass tacks when it comes to your relationship. If you haven't met them yet, then it's like when you meet them, you need to be very clear about what you want and about where you want to go. With the Elder and the Knight, it's like you both need to take time to think, which is what I think you're both currently doing. But at some point, you do have to move forward. And so don't take for forever. I'm not asking pile number one, person number one, or you to wait for forever on this person. You can be decisive and say, hey, I need an answer. But just know that they're in this transition energy, that they are working through some stuff, and it'll be a breakthrough when this kind of commitment finally happens. With the Tower, this is also a relationship that is going to transform you through your dynamic together. You are not going to be the same person 5 years from now that you are now because of this relationship. It has a lot of influence on you. So be aware of how you're influencing your person and they're influencing you, and have a lot of conversations, especially with all these swords, on what you want and on what works for you. This is a relation all relationships require conflict, healthy conflict, but in this relationship, you have to be fearless with the conflict. You cannot dance around topics, because if you do, you will constantly be triggering Tower moments. You have to be clear and concise in your communication with your person. And both of you're in this energy of change now, but it feels like you both grow a lot. And so while can be very difficult, it can also be very beautiful to have the capacity to change and grow. And this relationship is going to be a stable place to continue doing that. But to continue doing that with boundaries, with communication, with a conversation around what the other person wants and how you can both support each other when it comes to these things. I want to pull another card. Yeah, Four of Swords. So many swords. Also, there's an element of while both of you are changing and growing and shifting, yes, there's also an element of you also in this relationship will get to relax. And so it shouldn't always be high frenetic energy. And if that is the way it is now, or if that's the way you're feeling now as someone who may or may not have met this person, be intentional about lowering your cortisol, doing some meditation or some mantras or some manifestation that reminds you that good things are possible, that good things come to those who are patient and who put in the work and who believe in themselves. Obviously, every time I say this, I'm with the understanding that society is innately unequal, but allow yourself to sit in this, allow yourself to get clear about what you want, and know that this is a very Tower energy. I wouldn't be surprised if astrologically, because I'm also an astrologer who does relationship readings, and fertility, by the way. If you're ever interested, you can always book me. You know, this is a relationship that probably has some pretty distinctive nodal situations, which are the nodes where the eclipses are, which are very karmic and very connective. This relationship has a huge capacity for growth and change, but you do have to find a way to stabilize so that one or the other of you isn't like going a bit nuts at the same time. And this, I think with the flexibility and change for both of you, it's about both of you knowing when that is appropriate to do and when you need to be more rigid and when you need to be more flexible and when change is important, but when maybe holding off a little bit on the change is also important. So it's a really dynamic relationship. Also, I get the sense that you're both really smart and both really intelligent. And I think this pile, you're going to have a lot of fun with your person, or you already have a lot of fun with your person when it comes to humor and like inside jokes and maybe silly little nicknames. Um, there is a fun element, and especially with the Ace of Cups here, we've also got the Sun here and the Three of Cups. There's an element of like community and passion and really loving and believing in the other person for who they are and what they bring to the table. So while it is a complex dynamic, it is a beautiful dynamic. And I think it's important, especially for you, because you've had to move through so many people, to understand that this person, just because they are changing, doesn't mean they're going to change in their love for you, doesn't mean they're going to change in their commitment to you, which might be why this is important because you're like, I need a bit of security. But you are a very loyal, caring couple, or you will be a loyal and caring couple. You just have to be okay with your person and the other person going through big transformations periodically and being there to support the other when this happens, when this time comes. Um, I'm getting the sense from spirit that this is all we have for you. So, how this works is I'm going to have a couple readings for singles, a couple readings for situationship dating, and a couple readings for long term partnership. And you can basically pick your own adventure. It doesn't matter which one you pick as long as it's the one that you feel aligns with you the most. The singles and the dating one might have more of a timeline, and the long term relationship one is going to talk a bit more about, which the dating one will too, about how your connection is going, and maybe what are some of the difficulties and what are some of the good things about it that are happening right now. Anyways, I will see you at whatever pile you decide to pick. If you feel that you apply to multiple piles, like you feel like your long-term relationship isn't going well and you might be single soon, you can do that, which, I hope that's not the case because that's very hard. Or if you feel like you maybe have met someone but you also feel you're not attached, you can look at the singles and you can look at the dating one as well. There's no rules here. Anyways, I will see you at your respective singles, dating, situationship, or long term piles. I hope this was helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you wanted to claim this pile, put a little rose down in it because we have these roses, we have these flowers, we have this flower. Pop a little rose down below, and I will see you all in a minute. Bye. Hello, pile number two. Here we are with your pile. You chose this beautiful citrine. How this is going to work is we have you. This is an energy check-in, so if this doesn't resonate, pick a different pile. And then we have your person and then the qualities of your relationship. I will be going through different kinds of language because this is a more general reading about relationships, and we'll go into the specifics with the kind of pick your own adventure, singles, dating, situationship, and like long-term relationship readings that are going to be also attached with timestamps after this reading. So just keep that in mind. As I said at the end of pile number one, but I'll say it here, when you do get to those piles, you don't have to only pick single or only pick dating or only pick long term. If you feel like you are transitioning between any of those, you can look at multiple. So this is not you don't have to be strict about this. You can pick things that as it feels intuitively guided. You don't have to follow any rules or regulations. I'm not about that. All right. So getting into this, we will take a look at you, where you're at currently, how you're feeling, what might be going on. This is your energy check-in, and then we'll look at your partner, and then we'll look at the quality of your relationship when either currently or going forward or when you meet your person. Also, the singles reading and the dating reading will have a bit of timing. I think with the long term one, it will depend on what comes out. So, starting off, we're going to start with the water card. We have the rainbow, sweet relief, new beginning, and a way forward. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Love that. Feels like you are on the verge of something new, something fresh in life. We'll see if it's more relational and if this is more of a singles reading or not, or a dating reading. But definitely something new. Doesn't have to be romance, could be other stuff. We have abundance. Oh, I love this. Abundance. And then we have primordial passion. Leave your mark. Oh, so you are stepping into your power, bestie. You are coming into a new period of abundance. It might feel as though you're not quite there yet because we have this new beginning, sweet relief, new way forward. Sweet relief feels like you've been through it or are currently going through it. And this is indicating that when your partner arrives or when something shifts in your relationship dynamic, whether you're partnered or not, there's a sense of abundance. And a part of that, which I find interesting because we have these kind of lighter, fluffier cards, and then we have this primordial passion, and they're like rubbing paint or blood down a stone in the nude, or at least maybe in the nude, yeah, in the nude. you know, it's about you becoming more raw and more visceral and more aggressive about what you deserve in order to get that abundance, in order to claim this new beginning. So it's definitely giving, take what's yours, bestie. Grab what you deserve. Don't accept any less. Be fierce about what you want. Be upfront about your needs. This is also, I'm getting the image of like a dating profile, whether you're online dating or not, doesn't matter. But, all of us have kind of probably sat with like, same with like resumes of like, how honest should I be? Should I leave some things to mystery, and so maybe they'll like me more, or maybe I'll get them in the door if I'm a bit quirky or if I'm a bit off-putting because I'm so powerful, and then hoping that allows people to come in. And that's not the thing here. Like, you need to put your full thing online, be like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want, and if you like it, swipe, and if you don't, good luck, bestie. So this is not the time to play it safe. This is not the time to play small. This is not the time to try to, um, what is the phrase I'm looking for? To try to like breadcrumb or like, um, slowly feed someone your personality. The person who is your person is going to take you for all of the power and all of the magic that you are. They will see you and desire you. They will see you and see your potential. So if you're with this person, or you're about to meet them, or if you just met them, one of the green flags is that they see all that you are and go, wow, that's what I want, rather than them being like, not sure. This is not someone who's on the fence about you. So don't accept on the fence energy. That's not your person if that's the case. You should never have to convince your partner in any situation to admire, adore, and love you, but specifically for this pile, never ever. Let's see, what does the tarot have to say about you? Just wanted to give us a bunch. We will just take the sun, which is interesting because pile one got the sun in that exact same position. Seems like there's a theme here. We have the Page of Swords, we have the King of Cups, and we have the sun. Yes, you are coming into your power. And with this little page, it's like, we are not giving fucks anymore. We do not care about what other people think. It also feels like some of you might be neurodivergent and might be unmasking in this time. And while that can be scary, and while there's a chance you can lose out because of that, in this moment, I don't think that's the case. I don't think you're going to be losing anything. You are coming into yourself. You are shining as you deserve to shine. I also think for this pile, and we will look into timing to get more information, but I do think for this pile, you are ready for whatever you're desiring. If it's the next step in your relationship, if it's solidifying something with someone or meeting someone new, you are ready in this moment. And all you're pretty much doing right now is just continuing to lean more into who you are, continuing to, with the King of Cups, to learn regulation and coping skills and to improve yourself. But you don't really need anything in order to find someone. It's more about a timing thing, which definitely check out the other piles for that. Yeah, it's more about timing than it is about like you needing to do or be something. The more you are yourself, the more connected you'll be. And we have primordial has 24, which in numerology would be a 6, which is about forward motion, connecting the dots, interconnection with others. And so there is an element too of you're not only integrating new romance at some point or have already done so, you are also integrating authentic friendships and rewriting maybe some family dynamics of being like, hey, this is who I am. So not necessarily take it or leave it alone, but like I'm not going to be inauthentic to myself simply to please other people. And a part of that is really tapping into this primordial element of the self, this kind of deep underlying need and desire. I also think when it comes to selecting people or interacting with your partner, you need to start trusting your instincts more. If you are on a dating app, if you don't like the way they look, don't swipe right. if you don't, if they have something in their profile that's a red flag, it's a red flag. You don't waste your time. Also, I do think for this group, you will probably be meeting in person. Like I said, you can look for more specifics in the other branch offs of these readings, but it does feel like this person sees the physical you and goes, yes, that is what I want. And I do think, especially for this pile and the abundance and the primordial and this kind of sweet relief, new beginnings energy, is I think you might be someone who is unique. You're not like everyone else. You have something in society that makes you stand out, whether it is the way that you look, or maybe you're disabled, or maybe you just are quirky, or you have a specific style that people are like, oh, maybe it's your style that's off putting. Maybe it's because you're disabled, or blah, blah, blah. And the reason I can speak so freely on this is I am visibly disabled as well as non visibly disabled. And so the things that you think societally put you at a disadvantage, this person is going to embrace as a whole. And so this is about you shining as your brightest light and not worrying what people think and not trying to curate an image for them, because your specific form of abundance is exactly what your person likes about you or will like about you. All right. So you are coming to the other side of abundance. You are on the verge of a breakthrough. And the thing is, like, you might be really frustrated because you're like, I can feel the breakthrough. I can taste the breakthrough. I can smell the breakthrough, but I'm not in the breakthrough yet. And I'm really struggling. When is the breakthrough? And it is very soon. And I think it's probably more than just relationships. It feels like the relationship is just a part of this package. And like I said, if you're in a more transition phase, your relationship situation is going to improve as well when this breakthrough happens. And it looks like it's happening soon, quite soon. All right, let's look into the qualities of your future person. We have water codes, ancient wisdom, intelligence within you. So this is a very intuitive partner. This is someone who is mature. This is someone who has done the work. This is someone who also listens to their own intuition and advocates for themselves very freely, which I think is something you've struggled with in the past. And so this is a great partner to have because they are kind of like showing you how to advocate for yourself and stand up for yourself because they do it so well. Then we have flow. Yes, this is giving a very, very, very intuitive partner and someone who has done a lot of work on themselves and who is very self aware and has learned to kind of allow life to wash over them. And then we have ancestral alchemy. Conjure your legacy, yes. But the one thing they have yet to do is really settle in and settle down. I think for some of you, this means that your partner hasn't really had a lot of long term partnerships, like you may have, but they definitely haven't. Or they've just been in relationships where they don't have a goal or a focus, and that is going to be changing because they're really locking in. This is also a 5, which can be a number of tension and of having to make critical choices. And so while they're very mature and while they've really worked on themselves, they are at a moment where they have to choose at a crossroads. And like I said, this will manifest differently based on where you are. It's either meeting you and choosing you, or you've already met and they have to decide that you're their person, or, well, they already know you're their person, but like it can be scary when you find the one to just instantly be like, yeah, this will be great. Because there are fears that like if you invest a lot and then it doesn't turn out to be, then what happens? But it feels like they're pretty in tune. It's just that they're moving into a new phase of life where they want something more stable. They want something more secure, whether you've been with them for a while or you haven't even met them. And so they're figuring that energy out for themselves in this moment, but know that they are a very stable, fluid person. I think the only tricky part is that it does feel like their life might have been a little bit easier than yours with the flow and with kind of the fact that they've had the space to do some work without it feeling like destructive. And so there might be a little of incongruence with you and your person about experience, and that's something you're going to have to grow together with. With ancestral alchemy as well, they might have some, family legacy and family trauma and drama going on, that they are actively learning to work through. And maybe they've flowed a little bit too much and now they need to set some boundaries. So this is someone who is very good at going with the flow, but needs to learn boundaries and also needs to get a bit more clear about what they want in the future. But they're working on it. They just need to listen to themselves a bit more, especially with the water code here. All right, what else? We'll take the devil. Yep. Hello. Five of Swords, another five. Yes, yes. The Ten of Cups, interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're having to choose. They're having to choose in this moment what they want, and a part of them is very afraid of commitment. I don't necessarily think they're an avoidant per se, but they might have avoidant tendencies, and they know that if they choose to go into this next step, of either to start dating you, or of meeting you, or of moving into a new phase of your relationship with you if you're already together, they know that this is a really pivotal step and they will have to change and they will have to move differently. Like they won't be able to have the same hobbies and they won't be able to do all of the same things. It's not that your relationship is destroying their life, but like integrating someone new, for some of you I think it's starting a family. All of these things require shift and change, and this person does feel like they're struggling with it a bit, even though they really want it. They really do want that kind of connection and family and feeling at home, but because of their familial struggles and a bit of their avoidant nature, they're like, but maybe if I just messed around a little bit more, I'd actually find what I want and I wouldn't have to change. And it's like, no, the change is going to be good. The change is going to be beneficial. And this kind of came through in pile one, of like you being very clear about what you want and your person knowing that you're the right choice, but having to work through and process some of their own issues. And one of the green flags, I think, for this relationship is that they're willing to do things like therapy without having to be begged. They're willing to work on themselves. They're willing to go with by themselves and to think through their feelings and emotions and to be comfortable enough to do that and then come back and discuss it with you as their future partner or their person and be open and honest with how they're feeling without burdening you with the responsibility of how they're feeling. With the devil, this person might also have had a fairly colorful past. But they are someone who innately craves, with this ancestral card, family and legacy and a future that is more than just kind of ambiguously flowing, which we have the flow card because that's something they're good at. And it's just a struggle because a part of them wants to continue to flow and they will continue to flow, but it will have to be in a different way. And that's just a little bit jarring for them. So know that your person in this moment is also at a crossroads. You're coming out of a tough situation and they're having to to choose change and difference and to recognize that they might have conflicting desires and sometimes you do have to choose one choice and leave another behind. But ultimately they want this 10 of cups. Ultimately they want the connection, they want the care, they want the family, they want the love, they want possibly children. They just are really struggling with going from I don't have as many responsibilities to I will have to make a lot more commitments. So I don't think they're necessarily commitment phobe, but they're having to like work through and emotionally process what a future means, especially with someone that they love as much as they do or will love you. But let's look at the relationship because this always gives us interesting. So what's a theme that'll be in here? Career. And I knew this card was here. Both of you are going to have a pretty big emphasis on career in your relationship, which I find is interesting because I think that's also a part of their kind of conflict is like career is a really big focus in your relationship. Like you both, doesn't mean like it's your everything, but you both have specific careers that you really want, that you have specific ideas around work that you want. Also, it feels like one or the other of you really needs the other person to have a stable career, because maybe I'm feeling that maybe you are a bit more fluid, and so your partner having a good job is really important. But them being the main provider does require them to battle what that looks like, which is a lot of responsibility. But we have Find Your Haven. There's a place of wonder waiting for you. So you guys are definitely going to be the haven for the other person, and this relationship is about you finding and establishing that within each other. And I think a part of that is labor security, feeling safe when it comes to finances, feeling safe when it comes to the job that one or both of you has. And so I think it's a really important, I know it might feel incongruous to this reading, but it's a really important thing for you all to really discuss that side of the relationship, because it is a really pivotal point. We also have Altar, gratitude, releasing burdens. Your relationship is a place of support, equal support for both of you. And it's something that I think early on you're going to have to face, is that you both, even if you both are separately independent, in this relationship, you really have to lock in and learn to be dependent on each other. And I think you might be a little better with learning dependence, or at least being willing to integrate. And I think they might struggle with integration a bit. It feels like they tend to be on their own a lot. They tend to have done a lot of stuff on their own. And now they're coming into a relationship where they truly want a haven and they're going to find it here, but they don't know how to lean into that, which is why the kind of find is in here. Like, specifically feels like you want a haven and you know what you want it to look like, and they need a haven and they crave a haven, but they're not sure how to interact and get said haven. Also with the Altar, there's a really deep spiritual connection in this relationship where you both are going to learn so much from the other, and it's a lot about holding space for the other person. It might be, because I mentioned there might be some disability in here. It might be that you have different disabilities, or that you struggle in different ways, and it's about the fact that I think you're both really well matched for that, but you have to find where you're well matched. You have to find where that connection kind of crosses over and creates this really beautiful, stable relationship, where one of you probably supports the other financially, and the other probably supports the other person more emotionally and physically, with things like hidden labor, which is not technically hidden, it's just ignored by the patriarchy. And that's going to be something you both are going to have to work through, is this kind of, it feels like there's some extremes in this relationship, not bad ones, but like, just like you're going to have very different roles in the relationship, and talking that through and being clear on it is important. I also think with this ancestral thing and the primordial passion, you know, I think you are going to very much be a leader in this relationship when it comes to emotional stuff. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a follower, but they kind of have to get comfortable with you being progressive when it comes to emotions, when it comes to conflict. It might be new to them to have a partner who is so open about their feelings, and that is going to be a bit of a shift. So just know that there's a lot of dynamics that need to be worked through, but overall and essentially, this is a very supportive connection. You're just both kind of, it feels like you're both maybe at different places in this moment, regardless of whether you've met or not, and you're slowly moving to the middle, and that might feel a little off kilter right now. There's just like a little bit of an energetic imbalance that, with a little time and energy, I think will go away, especially if you communicate clearly. Let's see, what else can we learn? We have the King of Wands. Yes, clear, direct, passionate communication. Also, this relationship very, very spicy and fulfilling. Six of Pentacles. Yep, someone is providing for someone else in a financial, monetary way. And the Fool. Yeah, big changes, big transformations. I got flashed at the beginning. I should have shown you, but I got flashed with the Four of Wands, so it's about stability. But yeah, there is a spicy connection, an element of like mature sexuality. There's exploration, but you both are very like, you both have explored in your own right, so there's a sense of security in that. Also with the Six of Pentacles, you are both going to have areas of discrepancy that the other person fills, and both of you need to get comfortable with that, and both of you need to not kind of get embittered by not communicating that clearly. And I think what I'm trying to say is, like, maybe one of you relies on the other more financially. That has to be talked through. maybe one of you does more of the household labor or does more of the planning, that can become a really big burden. Your partner needs to be aware that you're doing this. This should not be done in secret. But with the Six of Pentacles, this is beautiful giving and receiving and caring and tending to your partner. And if you can kind of work through societal expectations and misogyny and the patriarchy, you can have a beautifully, with the Fool, unique and constantly growing and evolving relationship, which I think essentially is what you both want. There just might be an element of, in this moment, one or both of you is not quite sure how to get it, which is fine. That's what learning and growing is, something you have to work through. I also think with this person having the devil, you might have been or might be or will be a little suspicious of them at first, being like, hey, I'm not sure if you're the one because you're a little wishy-washy and you kind of live a pretty different lifestyle than what I want to. And they're like, no, I'm kind of ready for, I've been actually seeking for the way that you want to do things. Like, I just had my moment doing things this way. And you kind of have to take their word for it and believe them, especially with the Five of Swords. Like, they are measuring the cost and the benefit of change, and you are going to be a part of that change, and they will have to measure that as well. So there is an element of this is not set in stone. You're learning about each other. You're becoming more fluent and fluid in your understanding of how the other person works. And I think allowing that to be the case will really help you to come together in a really unique, really beautiful, connected, fulfilling relationship. It's just not going to be I don't think people are going to look at both of you and go, wow, this makes total sense. They're going to be like, I don't know that I would have put you two together, but when you are together, it makes a lot of sense, especially to you and your partner. And that's all that really matters. Um, you know, like I said, I think career is important. I think it might even be important for you that your person have success and have succeeded, which would make sense with the King of Cups and the Sun. So don't lower that standard. Your person needs to have some kind of attainment for you to feel safe and secure with them, and that's totally fine and normal. Just remember that you are also valuable as well, whether you have that same attainment or not. And it's totally fine to want something that you may or may not have, because that's how opposites work. So no lowering of the standards. And I do think this relationship has a bit of recalibrating, rebalancing, or balancing, calibrating as you move into it. But in the end, you are going to come in together in a really cohesive way and create this haven that is really going to um, create something beautiful that I don't think either of you has had the chance to experience. Also, numerologically, that's a 4, and so it is this idea of 4 points, 4 corners of a home, of you creating a space that makes you both feel loved and accepted. And with this altar, I think that you both spiritually support and care for and love each other in a really deep and meaningful way, even if you express it differently, which I think is beautiful. Anyways, I'm being led to close out your reading, at least this version, this section of it. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can always comment them below. With this altar card, if you want to claim this reading, pop the candle emoji below. We will move into the other readings. Like I said, you can mix and match. You can do multiple. This is ultimately for you to get the most detailed and accurate reading you can through my presentation and your intuition. Anyways, my loves, many blessings, and I'll see you in other places. Hello, pile number 3. This is your romance reading. How we're going to do this is you, this is your person, this is the quality of your relationship. I'll be using a variety of language because this is not just for singles. This is for people who are single, people who are in situationship or dating, or people in long-term partnerships. So just take what applies. I'm trying to be as general as possible. Also, this is a non-gendered reading. Anything can apply here. We will do that. I will use the tarot to break it down even more, and then we will move to kind of pick your own adventure singles. There's going to be 2 singles options, 2 dating situationship options, and 2 partnered options. And you can pick either one, doesn't matter. I'll have different symbols associated with them. But that's just how this whole thing goes. I'm trying to be clear communicating this. Anyways, let's get started with you. Now, the you part is also bit of an energy reading. So if this doesn't feel like it applies to you, then probably go to a different pile. But you chose this beautiful pink moonstone, which is so gentle and lovely. And we will get into it. So starting off, we have your water card, which is Mother of the Salt Waters, Passion, Wild Love, Open Your Heart, Let Love In. Ooh. So getting ready for love. Letting love in makes me wonder if we might be a little closed off or a little afraid to lose ourselves in love. I'm hearing we have community here. You also might be focused on other stuff. I don't know that you're not wanting to be in love, but you're like, oh, expect the extraordinary. I think something's about to blow up. Something's about to happen. Either you're moving into a new phase in your partnership, or you're about to make things official, or you're about to meet your person. There's just this element. And also you have 29, and nines are like this on the verge type energy. With the Mother of Saltwater community, you are a person with a lot of power, and with phenomenon, you are a very powerful person. You might, part of the reason you might struggle in love, or you might be looking to this reading, is because you do feel like you might come off as too much. You don't. Those people just can't handle magic. And with community, it does feel like you did meet or will meet or have met your person in a communal setting, in a class, out in public, at a coffee shop. It doesn't feel like you guys are online. And also with community, it feels like you're someone who invests in a lot of different stuff. You're not just kind of sitting at home waiting for love. You're involved in your community. You're doing different things. You might be volunteering. There's just an element of busyness here. It just feels like you do a lot. And now with phenomenon, it feels like you're on the verge of something changing, whether it is your relationship dynamic, which I think is part of it, or basically your entire life. It feels like this is a really big moment, even beyond this reading, and you are a mother. And maybe not literally, but in the sense of like having ownership and rulership and lineage. It doesn't have to be children. It can be like you owning a business, or you running something at work, or you creating something for yourself. And so you're a really powerful person who I do think has been kind of hurt a lot. And often I'm hearing that a lot of times your best qualities have been blamed for why things haven't worked. And that's just not true. Like, just because you're wonderful and amazing and incredible doesn't mean that you don't also deserve love. It doesn't mean that it's your fault that stuff hasn't worked out in the past. And so in this moment, it is about opening yourself up in spite of past hurt. It's about opening yourself up in spite of the fact that the energy feels a bit unhinged. You might be afraid of losing yourself in a relationship again, of going in too hot and too heavy, because that's just how you are naturally. And here's the deal: you have community, you have people around you that can keep you aware, and you can go to for advice. And also with the phenomenon, expect the extraordinary. Expect that the worst isn't going to happen. Expect that someone wonderful can show up and they cannot be a narcissistic piece of garbage. Yeah, 10 of Wands. You are a bit overwhelmed in this moment. It definitely feels as though you're feeling the stress of something a lot. Also, when we move into like phenomenon energy, it can be a lot as we make a breakthrough. So hold yourself gently at this time. You've done a lot. You are a lot. We have the sun, which came through in every reading for this pile. Not for this pile, but for all the other piles. The you person always got the sun. You are coming into your own, and I think you're actual. And I also find it interesting that there's a sun back here, but it's kind of like in this misty reddish cloudish stuff. You're always there, you're always functioning, but we need this cooler, more holistic energy, this energy of like care with those two hands on either side, rather than this kind of like feeling attacked for who you are, feeling like people are making demands of you because you are good. And we have the Two of Swords. You have a choice to make. You get to choose if you want to accept love. You get to choose to participate. Like I said, this group might not, you may want love, but you're not like actively seeking it out. Excuse me while I take a sip of my juice. You may not actively be seeking it out, or you might be participating in dating and stuff and being like, but I don't want to get burned, but I don't want to get hurt. And if you are in a relationship, it does feel like there is some overwhelm. and some dissatisfaction and feeling like maybe this is or isn't for you, but something has to change. But you can't continue in this relationship going over. There could also be friction in your community with your partnerships where like it just doesn't feel like the right place, the right time, or you always feel like you don't have enough energy to meet people, or that anytime you meet someone, they're with someone, or that the person that you're with isn't paying enough attention to you. But something has to give and something has to change. And part of it is about expecting the extraordinary with this phenomena card, but also part of it is about making the choice that's best for you in this situation. That gives you the most hope, gives you the most joy, because at the end of the day, you know, even in partnership, you do have to take care of yourself. And it can't just be your person's responsibility. And you know that probably too well. So be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself in this moment. Allow yourself to fall into love again, knowing that you don't have to lose yourself, knowing that the right person isn't going to take advantage of your wild passion, take advantage of your adoration. They are going to reciprocate it and love you just as much. All right, let's look at the other person's cards. We have cleansing, releasing the old, energetic tune-up, new beginning, pleasure, and enchantment. Love will flourish. Ooh, you got a lover. You have a lover who's very good at spicy things. They are releasing old ideas. They are letting things go. They are working through their own stuff. Something fresh is starting in their life. If you are partnered, I will just say this pile does feel like maybe not the person you're with. If you don't feel like that is true, then continue watching this. If you do, go to a different pile. If you don't think that's you, but there is an element here of, in the very least, if you are partnered, this needs a whole redo. You need a makeover. And if you're dating someone, this is amazing because they are ready for you to come in and they are an excellent lover and an excellent partner. And if you were looking for them, this person is your destined person. And they are going to treat you so well. And they are going to pleasure you and love you. And they have actively been working on themselves. This is also a partner who is either going to therapy or is very amenable to therapy. They absolutely are ready and they adore you. And one of the signs that this is your person is that they are ready and that they will adore you and that they're good at sex. They're also removing old ties from their lives. This is not someone who has a bunch of exes that they still talk to. And I get it. Having exes you talk to isn't always bad, but they aren't like putting all of their energy on past connections. Like if they do still talk to their exes, it's just like a, hey, how are you? We see each other in a group. It's not like, oh, I'm always on the phone with this person I used to be with and now we have to talk about boundaries. No, this is someone who is ready for something new, who is, I'm just hearing like in full awe and adoration of you, adores you. You were the best thing that's ever happened. They love you and your energy. And when they meet you, or if they've already met you, you will know that they are absolutely nuts about you. And they are gung ho about getting into a relationship. The last few cards, there was an element of like the other person having to work through some stuff. In this one, no, because they have already walked away. They have already moved on from the connection. They have experienced heartbreak in the past, but they are actively working. Yep, we have the Eight of Wands, but they have already worked through it, and they're already moving past it. Not in a bypassing way, but in the sense of like, I have healed, I have worked on myself, I've gone over what went wrong in that relationship, I've processed it, I've talked to my friends, I've made the changes that have needed to be made. We also have the Nine of Wands. They've also been waiting for the right person. This isn't someone who's just going to date anybody. They want their person. They want the person they're connected to. And so they're willing to hold out until you show up. And if you've already met them, the way that you can know that we're talking about them is that they were like, oh yeah, I wasn't dating and I wasn't really looking for someone until I met you because none of those people were you. And so this person is really set and focused and desirous of you and who you are and what you mean to them. And they are willing to wait and to do the work in relationship in order to have a connection with you. This is not someone who is afraid of conflict. This is not someone who is immature when it comes to relationships. They have absolutely worked on themselves and connected to their needs and processed the past. And now they're ready to move forward, especially the minute that they meet you or the minute that they have met you. So this is very, very positive. If you are partnered and you feel like everything's going well, this can also be your person. But if you're in a shaky position, this isn't the person you're currently with. I'll say that. But use your intuition. But this is someone who is ready for love, ready for connection. They've been waiting for this, and you are the one. Let's get into your dynamic. So we have wealth. So you two are going to be building wealth together. You already have. It can be money, obviously, with the coins, but it also can be like a wealth of love, a wealth of connection, a wealth of care, a wealth of understanding and hope. Your relationship is just a relationship of more with this person, which is really beautiful. We also have let love guide you, choose to see the good in the world today. Yeah, this is like a dream come true relationship, especially for someone like you who has been through it and who has really invested in other people and met a lot of disappointment. We also have salt, protection, banishing negativity. Yes, this is not a toxic relationship. This is a relationship where you are actively both working through on healing. I also feel like you both have your own, with the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Wands, you both come to this relationship with your own insecurities and your own wounding from past relationships, and in this relationship you cleanse and purge and heal that trauma from past dynamics. And with letting love guide you, you, even in those moments of uncertainty and of feeling abandoned and feeling lost and feeling like maybe your partner's not going to understand you, you have to trust that they will. And this relationship is about rebuilding trust after trust has been broken, and believing that you can build something with someone, and that your connection is not dependent on them constantly being the center of attention or constantly being the one who's having their needs met. You're both having your needs met. And this person is like, you're always very supportive and caring, but this person in particular just wants to see you happy and thriving. And there might be a little bit of energy that may be overdoing it and like being so supportive of you that sometimes you're like, hey hun, hey babe, what do you need? Because you're so giving to me and I feel like you're burning yourself out. How can I help you? I do wonder if this isn't um fire energy or air energy over here, but whatever energy it is, it's very passionate, it's very intense and very connected. And with the cleansing, like this is someone who's already worked on themselves, and so you're not having to pick up the pieces like you have in other relationships. You're not having to like raise another person. You're both ready for this, you're both mature, and you both want the same stuff. And I think with the wealth, you're both kind of, regardless of where the wealth comes from, you're both on the same page about how you want to use it and where you want to go with it and how you want to share it. Because you have community and they have pleasure, and both of those are very service related things. Pleasure is a dedication to comfort and care and requires effort to create. I would know this is a Taurus. And community does the same in a different way. And so there's an element of them bringing kind of like this pleasure and this comfort, and you bringing in the warmth and the connectivity and the love, and um, love in the sense of like a care for the world at large, whereas they kind of have care for the individual. And those two coming together creates kind of an expansive, um, universal kind of love and connection, which I think is really beautiful. But let's look at the tarot for y'all. Your connection, we have the Ace of Swords. Yes, like something like nothing you've ever experienced before. It's also a connection of the mind. You're both really smart. You both like to think about stuff. You both have really strong opinions and ideas. We have the Ten of Swords. Nice. Let's see, I'll get the last card before I talk about that. And Justice. Yeah, in this relationship, you are both healing from probably fairly major hurt. It feels like your last partnerships, or even if you haven't dated before, you're not with anybody, and your family could be this, like you have been wounded a lot, you've been exhausted by a relationship, and in this relationship there's a rebalancing. You both are so careful about causing harm. You're both so intent on helping the other person that you are actively working to heal and to create connection with the person you love. Also, bottom of the deck, we have Six of Pentacles. This is such a reciprocal, kind, loving, and generous relationship. You're both so giving that it kind of overflows into your community, into your neighborhood, into your other relationships. That this just is an overall good, healthy energy. And I think it's something that you specifically and this person have never quite experienced with someone else before, which is really beautiful, which is why you feel comfortable being vulnerable even in your most kind of overwhelmed situations. Like you can have a meltdown, you can get upset with this person and they can vice versa, and you both have the capacity and the empathy to work through it and to help the other person. Also with justice, in this relationship, while you're both being healed and the scales of karma are being rebalanced, you both want to make sure the other person gets what they need. And so it's a beautiful reciprocation where you're constantly like, oh, no, no, you. And they're like, oh, no, no, you. And it doesn't put you at a stalemate. In fact, it puts you guys nicely in the middle to where you're both able to have your needs met while also being very aware of the other person's needs. Um, and I know you came out with this Mother of Waters energy of this individual who's had to be through enough and who loves deeply but doesn't always get met. And in this, you can be that intense person. You can be who you are. And I think for you, the answer is you have to make a choice to choose to open yourself up to a passionate love. You also might find this person at the beginning. You might be like, are they love bombing me? Are they trying to like put me in a position where I'm at a disadvantage, where they can break my heart? And the answer is no. They are just that loving. Now you can express your concerns, you can talk about how maybe you feel about it so that you don't have to hide that you're feeling a little bit love bombed. But they will give you green flags and they will adjust and they will put their money where their mouth is. They're not just going to say a bunch of stuff and then not take care of you. Also, like they see you with the sun and they're like, that's my person. that's that's the those are the fingers that I want to wrap my fingers around. And so there might be a little bit of, on your part, an unsure energy at the beginning. Also, I think this person is like very hot and attractive, and while you're also hot and attractive, you might be a little suspicious of someone who is this hot because sometimes in society, they hot people get away with stuff, but they are not someone who focuses on that or puts their value in it. And in fact, it feels like part of their other relational stuff they've worked through is maybe being kind of seen a bit as a piece of meat and wanting someone to see them for who they are, and you are that person. Because you, even if they even when they get old and wrinkly, you're still going to love them, and you're not only here for their youth and spontaneity, you are here because you truly care. And I feel like that's kind of where spirit is leading me to stop. um, if you're with this person, congratulations. If you've met them, congratulations. And if you're single and you're going to meet them, congratulations. They are a lovely soul, and so are you. Anyways, this is my reading. Please like and subscribe. If you would like to claim this reading below, I'm trying to think what a good emoji for salt is. Maybe let's just put the moon, because we have like a moon here and we have a moon here and we have a moon here. So put the moon below if you'd like to claim this reading. Like I said at the beginning, I think I said at the beginning, you don't have to pick only one of the other readings. There's going to be two options for each: two for singles, two for situationships or dating, and two for long-term partnerships. You can pick either of those. It's like a choose your own adventure. It's just options. So, anyways, many blessings. I am excited for wherever you are on your journey, and I'll see you all at your other readings. Bye. Hello, my sickles. This is your extended reading. So for pile one, or group key, because I did one and two, and my other extended people were confused because I had pile one, two, and three, and they're like, "Where's threes?" So we have the key reading, and then we have the acorn reading. So these are just two separate readings about timing, about when you're going to meet your person, how it's going to unfold, some signs that might, synchronicities that might come around the time of meeting this person. Also, we might get into some of the qualities of the relationships or some of the things that you might do. So take a moment to select your reading, and I will see you at your respective piles. Hello, my singles who have selected the key group. Put this off to the side. These are your oracle cards. I don't know why I said that weird. Oracle cards. And this is the tarot deck we will be using for all of these extended readings to suss out things about timing, when, maybe where we meet our person, just the stuff that normally plagues the single folks when it comes to relationships. Um, as always, timing is very, very specific and unique, and has a lot to do with karma and the universe. So hold that loosely. Um, but if you feel it is especially true for you, then believe it. But let's get started. Let's start with our unicorn card. We have the healer. You have powerful healing gifts. Have faith in your abilities. Stay true to your path as a healer. Yeah. So, in pursuit of a relationship, you cannot go back to old dynamics. And a part of the reason I think you are currently single is not as a punishment or because you're failing, but it is because the universe is like, you have to heal before you jump in to a healthy relationship. And not completely. None of us ever heal completely. You don't need to be perfect or healed in order to be in a relationship, but you are a healer and you need to be with someone who is healed, which I think is maybe why, because I feel for this pile, maybe it might be taking a minute. I think maybe the reason why it's taking a minute is because you need a very specific person who is not going to rewound you in a very specific way. Then we have set boundaries, claim your power, and know your value. Yes, you also need to stick to your standards. Some of you might be like, hey, I haven't met my person. Maybe I should lower my standards. Maybe I should go on dates with people who I think are ugly or who don't have the same values as me or who want something else. No, your person is very unique. They are going to show up in the right time. You have to stick to what you have learned and what you know. And that's kind of why the universe is doing this, because they want proof that you're not going to go back. They want proof that you're not going to sacrifice yourself again, because you deserve to be seen and loved for who you are, and you deserve to heal. And they want that for you. We also have 333. I am powerful. You are being called upon to use your spiritual gifts as a light worker. Yep. Assisting all humanity, live your truths, and be a positive light to others. Yeah, and while I don't know that your person is going to maybe be participating in this work that you do, as a spiritual worker or just as someone who has a lot of spiritual energy who moves through the world, they need to be supportive. And that is what we're looking for in this relationship and in this dynamic. I do wonder if for some of you, you don't end up meeting this person in a spiritual space, or you don't end up meeting them in a healing space, like medicine or acupuncture or Reiki. Um, Maybe you run into them at like a bookshop or a crystal shop, but there is an element here of um, finding your person in a space of healing, finding them in a space of connection and care. Maybe it's a concert that is like a charity for something, but there is an element of healing and care that's coming through with your meeting with this person, which I find really interesting. I want to pull some planetary cards. Um, don't know why this deck and I are having an issue currently. So we have the ascendant. Yeah, this is also someone who needs to, along with the boundary setting, this is also someone who really needs to go with your aesthetic. They don't have to have the same aesthetic, but this is someone who isn't in like friction with how you present publicly. We also have Gemini. Um, you are going to be a fun couple for sure. This person is doesn't have to be a Gemini, but they might be born in the spring or summer. They might have Gemini placements. But there's a playfulness, but there's also an element of them needing to be supportive of your work. Um, because I feel like while the ascendant isn't like a direct correlation with work, it feels like what you are seen as is also what you do, which is not always the case. So you are someone who, like, what you are visibly is what you do. So for instance, if you are a painter and you wear clothes that have paint on them, it's like that. Or if you are a professional witch and you wear very witchy clothes, it's like that. Or if you like work at a certain job and you wear a logo, those types of things feels like is a sign that this is you. Also with Gemini season, I could see you, meeting on the Gemini axis, so either Sagittarius season or Gemini season. Connecting with this person mentally is really important. So a sign that it's them is their kind of the way in which their brain moves really quickly. And you can have like a really, really fun, fast, energetic conversations with this person. And you're not like having to explain stuff to them all the time. And they're not like having to keep up. Also, when it comes to timing, we do have 333. So some set of threes, either March, June, or September, feels like we are important months for you to meet your person or to either meet someone who introduces you to them or to like explore a new space where you're going to meet them. I want to get the Astro dice, but I literally have so many decks. Let's see if we can get more information about the meeting and about some of the topics around the time. We have Taurus, South Node in the 10th house. This might be someone you have met before. And if it's not someone you've met before because you're like, ick, Abigail, I'm not attracted to anyone I've met before or I'm not interested in them, this is a very strong past life connection. So when you meet them, you are going to feel a connection. This is not oh, maybe we'll grow over time vibe. No, you're going to feel connection. And with Taurus, it very much feels as though you're instantly comfortable with this person. It might be because Taurus does rule things like the throat, and sorry about that, I just dropped a whole deck. The throat, and it rules stuff like singing and eating and drinking. You could either meet them at a place that serves food, or you could meet them at a concert where someone is singing. With the 10th house, could also be work related, or you could be meeting them in October, or actually meeting them in September and starting a relationship in October is coming through very clearly for someone. So if that's you, lock in. A lot of the ones that the message is for is for Geminis, but not all. Also could be for Taurus as well. If you have Taurus or Gemini placements, that kind of September, October energy could be for you. It could be for more than those signs. But that was just something that came through really strongly. I do want to get a little bit of tarot to ask about anything we need to know about our person and this connection, and we might pull some tea leaves as well. We'll pull a couple. We have the Page of Wands. So something exciting and new. Also makes me think that you may not know this person already, but you have a lot of past life connections with them. Then we have the Knight of Cups. They're coming in pretty quickly. I don't know that this is going to take a long time. Like I said, I know for sure we're working in threes. Could be 3 weeks, could be 3 months, could be 6 months. And then we have, I'm pretty sure this is the 3. This one always gets me. This is the 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups. No, 3 of Pentacles, because 3 of Cups is the fiery cups. I don't know why this one always gets me, but it's 3 of Cups. 3 of Pentacles. Oops. This might back up the whole meeting someone who you work with, or someone who is related to your work or through your work. Maybe a colleague introduces you, maybe they come to you for a service or they buy something from you. But with the pages and the threes, another 3, they are coming in pretty fast. So for you guys, I'm not sure that we're looking at a long time. Definitely not more than 9 months. I would say 9 months is kind of the longest window I'd put. Possibly 10, but that's pushing it as well. Also, if you're really astrologically minded, could be a Taurus transit, could be a South Node transit, could be a transit in your 10th house. So if you're astrologically minded, it's too diverse to discuss here, but you can look those up. But this person is moving in pretty quickly. They are very, 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 very destined for you. Also, with the 3 of Pentacles, they're someone who is going to support your work and who is really going to believe in who you are and the healing that you do, whether it's something you do in your spare time or something you've just gotten introduced to or something that you do full time. They're very supportive of you and your work, and they're very smart. This is not giving a golden retriever partner energy vibe. This is giving someone who is just as fast as you, and you feel very smart. But this is someone who wants you to shine in whatever way you want to shine and is not going to be put off by any of the ways you present. So maybe you have a lot of piercings or a lot of tattoos, or you dress alternatively, or you're visibly disabled or something. This is not someone who is going to care. With the ascendant in Gemini, this is someone who loves you for your uniqueness, for your energy, for your pizzazz and your spiritual light. And so you don't need to change a thing. And lowering your boundaries is the worst possible thing you could do in this moment. Do not lower your boundaries. This person is going to love you and desire you and want you exactly as you are. And it's important for you to stay true to that. So, in summation, there's a couple different spaces you can make them in. A lot of it has to do about your personal healing and the work that you do when it comes to healing. Some of you might even be therapists or doctors. We're working in threes, and this energy is moving pretty dang fast. The only energy that's a little bit slow in here is this 5, the 32, and the Taurus and the South Node, which aren't innately slow. There's just a sense of like some stuff has to be done before we get there. And I think a lot of the some stuff is you just kind of proving to the universe that you're not going to pick second best, that you're not going to sacrifice yourself in order to get a short-term thing. You are willing to wait a few weeks longer to get the, or even a few months longer to get the right person. And I know in your darkest times, you're probably like, actually, no. And I get that. But at the end of the day, you are looking for a soulmate. You are looking for someone who aligns with you. And don't, especially with Gemini here, do not, because it's the twins, do not give up ground on that, even in your hardest times. You deserve to be with someone who truly loves and sees you for your light, and this person is going to do that. And they're coming in pretty dang fast. Anyways, my loves, this is my reading for you. Please like and subscribe. If you would like to claim this reading, pop some keys in the comments. Let me know how you felt about this reading. Come back and let me know what went down in 3 weeks, 3 months. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear it. I wish you many blessings. Bye. Hello, my singles. This is the second pile. This is the acorn pile for the extended singles reading. This is about timing, maybe how you're going to meet, any information about that, any information about you and where you're currently at. So let's get into it. Starting off, we have miracles. Dang. Have faith that your miracle is on its way. Your prayers have been answered. Surrender the how. Nice. So your person's coming in, and they're coming in as a miracle. Like, you may be like, if this resonates, this is your pile, but you're like, there's no way I'm meeting my person because I'm never places where I'd want to meet a person. They are going to just appear in your life at the right place at the right time. You just kind of have to let go of whether it's possible or not. It is possible. You just might be surprised at how it happens, and if you can release how it happens, it'll happen a lot faster. We also have a time to remember, look back on your childhood. In the meantime, we do need to go down memory lane. We do need to process some more stuff. I think the more that you're processing, especially if you're like in therapy or something, the better. It feels like this is kind of an answer to this. Also, this is a 1. So this is the initiatory number. And so you processing and moving through your stuff, even though it might seem unrelated, is what is going to usher this miracle in. We also have 777. 777, yes, 3. I am in the flow. Your purpose flows from within you, and everything that is unfolding or being revealed to you is a part of your purpose, a state of peace and calmness in your soul. So you have to trust that you're on the right path. You are on the right path. You are in the right place. This person is going to come to you. It is going to seem like a miracle. It is going to be unexpected. It is going to be a shock when they show up. We do have 7s, so we could be looking at, get my words right. So we could be looking at July. I also think we could be looking at February for a time to meet this person. I think it'll take some time. I think we got to look at the tarot and some other stuff to see what we're looking at as far as length of time. Let's do the planetary cards to get a real answer for this. Oh, come on, give me an answer. Capricorn, nice. So for some of you, we might be looking at Capricorn season, or just the energy of Capricorn. And we have Juno. Juno is the asteroid. Hera is the Greek name. Juno is the Roman name. Juno is the asteroid of marriage and partnership and long-term connection. So this is a long-term connection coming in with Capricorn. It's something you're going to be building and growing in. I would look at maybe your astrology chart if you're interested in that to see where Capricorn is in your chart and how that might relate to this. Maybe some of you have Juno in Capricorn. But there's an element of this being your person for a long time. And with Capricorn, it's ruled by Saturn, which is about commitment and restrictions and boundaries and the things that we build with. And so, honestly, I will say you might have to wait a minute. Like, you might have to wait 7 weeks, 7 months. It's a little longer than the threes that I often see that come into this reading. But with a one and with this miracle, it is going to be at the exact right place and right time. And this person, it's going to be worth it because this person is going to be long term. Okay, we have Capricorn, LOL, Neptune, and the fourth house. The fourth house is about home and family. This is someone who's going to make you feel so comfortable and so safe. And with Neptune, there is this magic to your connection and this magic to, it's kind of like an otherworldly connection that you're going to experience with this person where, like, you meet them and you just know, like, you're going to know that they are the miracle. You're going to know that they are your person, especially if you have been doing the work, if you've been processing your childhood stuff. Also, this is going to be a change from past dynamics where maybe you have fallen into a lot of maybe family abuse cycles and trauma cycles. This one, no. You are building your own home and your own space with this Capricorn energy, with this energy of transformation and change. And so trust and believe that you're not going to be repeating old patterns. Let's see if we can look at the speed and any more themes. As far as where you will meet them, pile number one had a lot more information on that. This one, I think, is just like with the miracle card, there's not really any way to predict that. You just have to believe that they're going to show up, that they will reveal themselves in time. Okay. Ooh, this is nice. We have Two of Cups, Six of Pentacles, which is my card astrologically, which I love for me. And we have the Nine of Wands. You are about to meet this person. You are breaking through. And not only are you going to be breaking through and meeting this person, with the two and the six, this is the one. This is your person. I believe everyone can have multiple people, but this is the person that you have been waiting for. This is the connection. This is the care that you've been wanting. I will say that if you came from pile number three, this is absolutely your pile. This is the one. There is this element of feeling pushed to a breaking point with the nine, where, like, you're gonna be like, I need to meet this person now because I'm feeling so depleted and alone. But know that they are coming, and the minute they come in, this lovely sense of reciprocation and care and love will wash over you. You're also going to feel like it's this beautiful, lovely gift from the universe that has been long waited for, that you have earned through your labor. And it's going to be a connection like no other. Like, you're going to meet this person and you're going to know that they're someone special, that they are important to you. And one of the ways that you're going to know that is with the Six of Pentacles, is that they treat you so well. They're not someone who is pinching pennies. They're not someone who is like, oh, we have to split the bill all the time. This is someone who you might have to convince to let you participate in financial stuff. They're like, no, I'll take care of it. I'll handle it. This is also someone who's like going to drive you around and who's going to, like, if you have medical needs or something, they're like, oh, let me take you to that appointment. No worries. Let me block off my calendar. This is someone who really, 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 really loves you and shows it in many physical ways. They might struggle to say it in words, but they're absolutely doing it by action, which I think is really beautiful. And I do think also with this four, you guys are going to be building a home together. So fear not. This person is fully ready for commitment, fully ready for you to come in, and really desirous of connection. And if you come from pile one or pile two, in the singles reading, you know, the indecision that they're working through is not an indecision about you. It's an indecision about the kind of importance of the relationship. And I think indecision is not the right word. They're just hesitant because they're like, they know that once they get into this, very Neptunian, once they get into this, they're in it. And that is going to be there forever. And while it's going to be beautiful, they don't want to mess it up. So give them a little slack, but not too much. Like, they do need to put their money where their mouth is within the first 4 weeks, I'm hearing. But this person, and they will, because this person is ready for you and this person adores you. And that's how you're going to know it's them. Also, you might see 777 up and around a lot right around the time that you meet them. It could be a Neptune situation, although that if we're this is a timeless reading, but that would be a lot of stuff happening in the spring. Or it could be Capricorn, which is the winter or Cancer season, which is the opposite one, which is in late June, early July. Because this is a general reading, there are multiple options. But remember that this is a miracle and it is going to happen in a Neptunian way, which is a magical, unexpected, unpredictable, divine situation. And they will come in right when you need them. Anyways, my loves, this is my reading for you. If you want to claim this portion of the reading, you can put, I don't know that they have acorns and as an emoji, I'm not sure. If they have an acorn emoji, use it. If not, use the oak leaf, because I do know they have an oak leaf or a leaf to claim it. Anyways, my loves, many blessings, and I wish you speedy connection with this person because it is going to be divine. Hello, my situationship slash dating folks that are in a connection with someone but may not be like in a long-term connection with someone. These are your piles. Pile number 1 is this beautiful turtle, and pile number 2 is this lovely owl. In this reading, we are going to go through if this person is your person, the one that you're currently talking to, when things might become a bit more stable, how this all might pan out where you're at currently. But take a second, pick your pile, and we'll jump into the first reading. Hello, my folks who picked the turtle, my folks in a connection, but maybe not a connection that's fully developed or that where you feel like you know where it's going. We're going to see where you're at and maybe if this is the one or if it's going to work out and stuff. We have support. Ask for help, get more rest, nurture yourself. So the message here is don't lose yourself in this connection. It doesn't mean the connection's good or bad, but like do not lose yourself in a connection. A connection that is meant for you will not ask you to sacrifice your basic needs. Also, it feels like it may be the time to talk to this person about what the next steps are in your relationship. Like, what are we? Where are we going? You know, maybe you do like the format of never knowing. Watch how your romantic partner feels about you. But I think if you're watching this reading, you probably don't enjoy that. So it is time to get to be like, what's happening? What's going on? We gotta become aware, listen to the wisdom of the body. Oh, you know if this is the right thing for you. You know if this connection is right for you already, and you might be avoiding it or you might not, but you really need to listen to yourself because your body knows if this is your person. Also, something that's coming from spirit that I'm supposed to ask you, is the sex good? Like genuinely good, not the I'm gonna tell my friends that it's good because if I tell them it's not, then they're gonna be like, why are you with them? Like genuinely, are your needs being met? Because if they are, yes, this is the relationship for you. But if they're not, there's someone else and they're better and they're more sexy and they're better at what they're doing. So for this pile, there's definitely an element of you needing to stabilize this or to ask for stabilization. We also have 555. I am optimistic. A major shift is about to come into your life. Experience and change your path's direction. Be open and stay positive. So I do think that for a lot of you, this is your person, unless you said no to the questions I asked earlier. I don't think you should be like, oh no, this isn't them, but you do require more from them and you deserve to have more from them. And I think it might just be a case of like you just needing to ask, but you do have to set some boundaries. You do have to ask for more support. Also, like, just because you're not maybe in like a confirmed long-term relationship, they should still be showing up for you. And I think part of it might be you just haven't asked. And so you should ask. Also, there's a major change coming into your life. You know, it's time. It's time for you guys to make this official. It's time for you guys to find security. And if it's a yes, which I think for a lot of you it is, then praise, wonderful, you move forward. And if they're not ready, then I don't think this is it for you. But we are going to get into this astrology deck to get a few more answers. We'll use the Astro Dice just to see. We've got Leo. Yeah, this is about centering yourself. And we have Scorpio. Ooh, 2 of the fixed signs. You might be a Leo and they might be a Scorpio or vice versa. Also interesting that this kind of shade range matches that. But there's an element of needing security, of needing stability, of needing to both have your deep personal needs met and also needing to be honored and loved for who you are. If this person is not 100% thrilled with you and obsessed with you, they are not the one. And if they are, get on it and lock it in. And they need to be on board for that. But you need someone who is optimistic about you, who adores you, who wants you, and you already can tell whether that is true or not. So if these things aren't true, this isn't your person. They need to adore you, they need to believe in you, they need to want you passionately. And if you're like, yeah, that it describes my person, then yes, 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 this is all good and great and everything's fine. Um, let's see. What does the tarot have to say about my folks? King of Wands. Yeah, claim it. If you want it, take it. Ten of Swords. And Judgment. Yeah, lack of boundaries is killing you right now. And it doesn't mean that this person is pushing your boundaries or hurting your boundaries. It means that you have not set boundaries. And if you do not set boundaries, people will not know how to function within them. With this King of Wands, you're being invited to set boundaries, but right now it feels like silence is killing you. You might be waiting for this person to speak up. You might be waiting for them to say something. Why should you wait? Now, if you truly feel like this person should be pursuing you and they're not, then you can turn this reading off right now. They're not your person, you can leave. We do have Judgment. There might be a reason this person is holding back a little bit. They might sense the really strong past life tie that you have together, and there can be some fear about having to complete it and do it. This happens pretty often. But ultimately, if they are your person, they will choose to move forward in loving and supporting you and in being in your life. And so that is how you are going to know that this is your person. Everything is an emphatic yes. Nothing about this reading has been quiet or coy. We have two very aggressive fixed signs. We have, oops, little dust bunny. We have the support card. We have this 555. Like, if you're not optimistic, what are we doing? We also have Aquarius. Oh, so just add another fixed sign to this. Neptune in the 11th house. Also a message about this person. If your friends don't like him, it's not the one. If your friends are not a fan, this person is not your person, because the 11th house is your communities and your groups. Also, if they don't integrate well into your communities and groups, they're not the one. They need to be someone who gets along with people. With this Aquarius energy, they need to be really accepting. If this person isn't all bigoted, gone, bye, no. With Neptune, there might be a little continued obscurity when it comes to your dynamic and what you're doing. But the only way you're going to get through that is by facing the fact that this is stressing you the hell out, and by getting answers and by kind of pushing things to a head in order to get what you want. And like I said with this one, be aware, listen to your body. Your body already knows. And not like the one that's like, oh, I need to have physical touch and therefore the only person available is for me. The body is in like your intuition, your innate knowing, your knowledge. It already knows. So trust. And here's the deal with the positive card. This could be the one. It could be great. It could be wonderful. But there needs to be action. You need to have connection, and you need to get out of this wishy-washy place of not knowing with them and lock this in. And then you can go listen to the long-term pile and get more insight. Anyways, my loves, that's my reading for you. You know, you deserve support and you deserve some stability in your life. And this person should either be 100% down for you or they're out. Anyways, I love you all. If you would like to claim this specific reading, you can pop the turtle down below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye. Hello to my owl pile, or pile 2 of the situationship dating folks. We are going to find out any guidance about your current situation, anything you need to know, anything about progress moving forward. The other pile was pretty spicy about claiming what you deserve. But starting off, we have patience. Okay, so a very different message. Pause before you take action. Trust the divine timing is at work. Be patient and play whilst you wait. Okay, so this is a completely different vibe. So if you don't feel like you need patience, go check out pile number 1 or the turtle pile. With this dating situationship, I think it's important that your other person is the person who activates things, is the person who moves things forward, and you are learning to wait and you are learning to take your time. We also have disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest nights. I think that's a pretty strong message that your person may not be your person. right now, and we may be looking for another one. It also could be disappointment because they haven't locked it in yet. And with the there is hope even in the darkest night, it might. There's a very small portion of you where it's like, this is not your person, go to the singles reading. And if you feel like that resonates, do it. But there is hope even in the darkest night. You might think maybe this person has gotten busy, or maybe they're not talking to you currently as much as you think they should, or maybe like you have someone in mind, but you haven't dated them at all. You just need to wait. The timing's not quite right. Two, I am diplomatic. You have great talent for finding solutions. Your intuitive and unbiased nature allow you to see all sides of any situation and advise others towards the most fair and beneficial outcome. Firstly, that was a miracle because I didn't stumble over my words because of my dyslexia. And secondly, yeah, you need to wait on this person. I also wonder if this pile is in a group that has someone in mind, but not much has happened on the relationship front. You need to wait and you need to have fun. And with the play here, maybe go on a date with someone else. Maybe like see what your options are. It doesn't mean that this person isn't your person, but it does mean that like you shouldn't put your entire life on hold for something that is not certain. So, you know, if this person hasn't locked it in, you one of two options. You can wait for them, or the other option of you can move forward to find someone else. And if the pile that you watched, you were like, this doesn't really feel like the person I'm with, then maybe you should go back and look at the singles reading because you're not really with someone. But for those of you where you were just waiting on someone, or you have someone that you know is a person that you want to be with, and you just haven't started a relationship of any kind yet, besides maybe friendship or just acquaintance, take your time. Know that if you truly want this connection, that you have to wait, and that you might be disappointed because it hasn't happened yet, but they also have stuff going on. And this shouldn't be about them desiring you. It's more about maybe them not being aware that this is this is the quality of the relationship yet. Like they're not quite past the fact that you guys maybe were friends once and now it's moving in a more romantic direction. They might just not be aware, or they might be hesitant because they don't want to ruin the friendship. We also have second house and two. So there's something about twos. I think in 2 weeks to 2 months, you are going to get an answer. I don't think you're going to be waiting for forever. Also, the second house is about you and your personal power, and like the stuff that you deserve and the stuff that you are going to, the like your personal talents. So it's like, don't put your entire life on hold over a relationship. Focus on other things. Focus on your career. Focus on like building skills or your crafts or your hobbies. Like don't put your entire life on hold. And then we have the fifth house, which is creativity and children and spontaneity. You have other stuff going on. Be creative, be fun, feed into other parts of yourself in this time, because while you can wait on the romantic front, you shouldn't put your entire life on hold for someone else. And that's a really strong message here. You need to not put your life on hold. Yes, you can have patience for this person. You can wait for them to show up. You can wait to connect with them, but you should not like not do other stuff in the meantime. Okay, we have a bunch of cards fall. We have justice. Feels like your other person might be rebalancing stuff. We also have the Seven of Wands. No, it's the Eight of Wands. Stuff is actually going to move quite quickly. You maybe have been having to be patient, but with the twos and with, yeah, we have the Three of Cups. Twos and with this Eight of Wands, there is forward progression happening. There's also an element of stuff having to be figured out. Some stuff has had to be figured out and worked on before you two can come together, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but it's about knowing the difference. It's about knowing if this person is putting in the effort or not, knowing if this is your person. I think taking some time to yourself and being like, hey, is this because they're not putting in effort, or is this because they just don't realize that I like them? Right? There's a difference between someone just being oblivious and someone knowing that you're interested and kind of leading you on. With the Three of Cups and the Eight, the more that you focus on your life and your relationships and having fun and celebrating with friends, the less this is going to bother you. And the faster it's going to right itself and become something more stable and connected. So, really, in this time, focus on yourself, focus on getting your life rebalanced, focus on your own progressions and your friendships, because you're very quickly going to know if this person is serious about the future. They are going to show it, they are going to let you know. You have to wait for them to work, because I'm hearing very specifically, this is about them breaking some cycle or habit of passivity or apathy. They have to be the one to approach you. They have to be the one to get over their fears, because you are very much a person, I feel, who is capable of facing your fears and doing stuff, but they maybe not. And this is kind of like a step they have to take to be a good partner for you in the end. So take your time. And here's the deal: if it gets past 2 weeks to 2 months, that is your answer. If they haven't said anything 2 months from now, and you might even know within 2 weeks if you really want to move quickly, then let it go. Go have fun with your friends. Continue, move forward, invest in yourself and your skills and your gifts and your creativity. And if they're still important while you're doing all of those other things and they show up, then yes. And if not, let it go, release it, because you deserve to have someone who is wildly in love with you and desires you. And while I don't think for everyone this person is just apathetic, for some of you it is, and you deserve more. We have the seventh house, the north node. Is it north node or south node? South node. The south node and Taurus. So this is a very relational situation. They are, in the very least, they are attracted to you whether they know if you are or not. With the south node, this is someone you have been in contracts before. So this kind of slowness is them navigating a karmic contract that they are actively deciding to be in or not to be in on some level. With Taurus, if this is not a comfortable situation for you, and if you are not getting your needs met, find your needs, get your needs met somewhere else. Date other people, connect with other people, have fun, pleasure yourself, enjoy yourself. Don't let this patience in this situation ruin your life. Don't let the disappointment destroy you. If this person is meant for you, they will come forward and they will tell you. Live your life in the meantime. Anyways, my loves, this is my message for you. I wish you the best of luck. And here's the deal: if it's not them, there's someone so fabulous coming towards you. So do not sacrifice yourself and your shine for a maybe when there is someone out there who is going to be a for sure. And if there's just a little time needed, let that time happen. Anyways, if you want to claim this reading, pop a little owl in, I think there's an owl emoji, owl in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Many blessings. Hello, my coupled, partnered, married, long-term folks. These are your piles. We're going to talk about your relationship, how it's going, maybe some action to take, the quality of it. Pile number 1 has this little Phrenite star, which I love. It's about healing and connection. And then this sexy little torso is Labradorite, which is about psychic gifting and clarity when it comes to astral things. Take a sec, pick your pile, and I will see you there in a minute. Hello, pile 1 for my partnered, attached, married, anything longer term relationship folks. Here is your Phrenite star. Before this reading, I was racking my brain for what crystal that is for some reason. I wanted to say peridot, and I was like, no, it's not. But let's get into it about how your relationship's going, what's going on with it, anything you need to know about it. So we have Goddess. Honor your divine feminine energy, see your inner beauty, love every part of you. So I'm not really a huge fan of the divine feminine type stuff, but regardless of your gender, loving yourself is never a bad thing. In this moment in your relationship, there is an element of you needing to return to yourself. You might have lost yourself, not necessarily in like a horrible way, to your relationship, but returning back to who you are and what you want and your passions and your desires actually will make your relationship stronger in the long term. So returning back to that and reconnecting to that is super important at this time. And also maybe you need to rebalance some stuff in your relationship. Go on an adventure. Today is a day to try something daring. Yeah, there's like an element of maybe you've gotten a bit too sedentary in your relationship. Maybe things have gotten too humdrum, and now's the time to spice things up. Go on a solo adventure, go on a couples adventure. I think maybe a couples trip would be a great idea for you, even if it's like just a little overnight stay. But it feels like things have gotten stagnant, and we really need to shift something here. And this, so far, it's not giving we need to break up or our relationship's over energy, but it's definitely we need a shift or a change because you're not getting everything that you need. The things have gotten too quiet. I am kind-hearted. There are a lot of typos in this deck. It's driving my Virgo nature nuts. You are both open-minded and open-hearted, and your ambition is to leave this world better than you found it. Ensure that your goals are aligned with the collective need and with the highest good of all. Yeah, there's an element of needing to return to yourself, to return to your purpose pre-relationship. To it feels like maybe you've gotten kind of wrapped up in like the partnership of it all. And there's an element of needing to like come back to yourself and then reintegrate that into your relationship. It's not giving, like I said, and this, but it is giving that you need to be more yourself. And if your partner is resistant to that, that is something you do need to think about. Also, with this is kind hearted, you might be a little too giving, and it might be time to re-establish some boundaries and kind of pull back on some of the energy you're giving. I'm not saying to like starve your partnership, but like maybe you're doing a lot of the mental and emotional labor and you're at your rope's end, and going on this little adventure, taking some time to get out of the norm, to have a conversation with your partner about restabilizing stuff, and and the patriarchy can infest and invade any relationship. You don't even necessarily have to have a man involved, but like how we distribute labor and how we value labor is very patriarchal. And so maybe if you do a lot of the hidden labor in your relationship and that's something that you're not getting credit for, you're not giving space to rest from, then that's something to bring up with your partner regardless of gender. To be like, hey, I've been doing a lot of this stuff and I know in society it's not valued, but I'm feeling devalued in my relationship, which not acceptable. So just a lot of returning to yourself in this time in this relationship, remembering who you are as an individual. um, I actually love when I'm in a relationship, like the deep connection and kind of the lostness you can get. But it's not great when you lose yourself. Like it's nice to feel one with someone, to feel a part of something, but you do need to individuate and be a bit different. We have Cancer, which makes sense with the kind-hearted. Not all cancers are kind-hearted, but Cancer is an element associated with nurture and care, and the fourth house. Yeah, it's a time to return to yourself, to return to your needs, to return to your desires, to focus on the home and like how you want your home to be. Maybe things have gotten a little off track when it comes to your home life and your relationship with your partner. And you want to specifically look, ooh, well, I'm going to take this. We do have, I didn't use these in any of the other readings, but they do are really helpful for advice with like current situations. We do have Chair Empty, someone is leaving your life. I do think for some of you, this relationship at some point may not be for you anymore. And if this resonates, I think you should sit with that. It also could be a friendship or a other relationship that's heading out that you're going to need relational support for. But I think with the Cancer in the fourth house and this energy here is like you might sometimes hold on a little too tightly to stuff that needs to be allowed to flow and let go, like where you want to just make sure everything stays the same and for safety. And now is the time to shake it up and trust that whatever happens is meant to happen. We have Lobster, financial pinch. Yeah, so there's an element of lack and tightness. It feels like you're just kind of starving for a lot of things. Also, with the Go on an Adventure, you might need to spice up the sexy life in your dynamic. And also, it doesn't have to be with one person. All of these readings can apply to multiple dynamics. But you know who this person is. Then you have Butterfly, a change for the better. You might be struggling in this moment with connection in your partnership. You might feel like adventure is impossible or you're kind of stuck in a rut, but know that this adventure, this returning to yourself is going to benefit your relationship. We are lied to in society that sacrificing and giving up parts of self in relationship make a relationship better. No, they harm it and they cause imbalance, and eventually one or both of you gets burnt out and has to leave. So allowing yourself to return to yourself, allowing yourself to come home to who you truly are is going to strengthen your relationship. And if it damages your relationship, then your relationship isn't meant to be. Coming from someone who hates that, ooh, another pile got this. I think one of the dating piles, Justice. Yeah, there needs to be a rebalance of equity in your relationship, and how that's going to happen and how it's going to be a little easier is if you spice things up. If you change up the schedule and say, hey, not only are we going to make change, but we're also going to rebalance stuff and use the change as a way to rebalance it. We also have the 10 of Swords. You are burnt out, and that there's a reason you're being asked to come back to home, to come back to self, to come back to this Cancer fourth house energy. It's because you have been starved of things and you haven't been given all the resources that you need in your relationship, and it's time to talk about it. And it doesn't mean necessarily that your partner or partners are intentionally causing harm, but it does mean that you maybe have given up too much of yourself in your relationship. And so what you're being asked to do in this moment is have a conversation about your needs and about how you're feeling starved, and maybe asking, with this go on a venture, maybe it's not even a couples trip. Maybe it's you taking a few days off to go do something for yourself, and your partner being okay with you being the person who is centered in this moment. And if they're not okay with you being centered, that's a huge red flag. So this isn't, necessarily a yes, we're going to stay together forever. No, we're not going to stay together forever. But something about your relationship needs to change because you are carrying too much, and you need to be able to return to yourself in this moment. And your partner needs to be supportive of that so that you can rebalance and head in a new direction so that you don't live here all the time. Anyways, my loves, I wish you many blessings as you move on this journey, as you head towards either more connection with your partner through you finding yourself, or you finding yourself and heading in a different direction. Either way, you need to care for yourself, because this pinch, I think, is more than just financial. You're in a point where you are experiencing lack and you don't have to. Your partner can come in and support you, and your relationship can open up to create new ways of support for you as well. And it's because you're so kind hearted, which isn't a bad thing, but you do need to make sure that you have your needs met also. Anyways, my loves, many blessings. If you want to claim this reading, did I not? No, I did. Where did I put your, like, my mind is blanking. Oh, if you want to claim this reading, put a star below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye. Hello, torso pile. Or second pile of our married, partnered, long-term group. This is what you chose. Let's get into the energy right now, how your relationship's going. We have freedom. Live wild and free, choose freedom, claim your independence. This is kind of a little similar to the last one. There's an element of you needing to choose yourself again, and also maybe rewrite some of the rules of your relationship. It feels like things have gotten stagnant, or you have felt trapped, and like, you deserve to feel free within partnership. You deserve to feel loved and connected within partnership, and you can. Like, just because you're with someone doesn't mean you can't experience individual situations and things. We also have go inward. It's time to connect to your inner child. There is a return to your childhood and a return to parts of yourself that might be more childlike. And I think that freedom might have been crushed a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a partner problem. It can be like you and your partner falling into societal norms, or just losing track of both of your individual selves. This doesn't even have to go for you. This can also be your partner and you needing to kind of spend some time alone, or to like experience a sense of freedom in this moment and not be so kind of trapped in your relationship dynamic all the time. We also have 10. You have great leadership skills. Your mind is sharp and allows you to dream up ingenious ideas and organize all the details, then direct others how to carry things out. I am ingenious. So you are a really smart person, and you've gotten trapped in not being able to use your know how and your smarts. You don't need to rely on someone else all the time to make decisions. Also, maybe in your relationship, you need a part of your life where you have full autonomy to make choices. Obviously, checking in with your partner or partners, but like, you also need a space where you get to have autonomy, where you get to choose how you move forward and where you go with something. Like, it feels like there needs to be a little more independence in your dynamic. And maybe you've been in a time when you haven't been able to do that. Maybe you have a toddler, maybe you've just both had a big work transitions, but now is the time to kind of reconsider and think about what your inner child needs. We have Pluto, yes, yes. Themes of the underworld, themes of destruction, the endings of cycles. And you have Virgo, yeah, which is a very smart sign. It's time to get really thoughtful and critical about the life that you have and the life that you want, and if those are the same thing. And I don't necessarily think this is, we're going to look at other cards. I don't think this is you needing to split off and break off from your partner, but it's definitely you needing to connect with what you need and with what your partnership needs, not necessarily in a coming together sense, but like, what are your individual needs that need to be met inside of your partnership? And allowing Pluto to come in and to point out maybe some habits and some stuff that's not healthy, that has gotten out of control. We have the Feather. Someone you know is undependable and insincere. Some of you may be dealing with a partner who is not super reliable and who hasn't been sincere. Or there's just someone in your life that's causing that stress, that's kind of highlighting those fears in your life. If that's your partner, then that's not great. I'm feeling that it's not necessarily, but it might be something that's causing undue stress in your relationship and you need to talk about it. We have fears, worries, and a tense situation. Yeah, something has to give in your relationship, whether it is you being intentionally burdened by your partner or not. Something's got to give. You can't live like this. And then we have wishbone, a wish granted, and the flute, disappointment in a friend or a lover. Yeah, I think for some of you, genuinely, you are disappointed in your relationship right now. Do I think it's impossible? No, there's the wishbone, there's a wish granted, there's something that can happen, but it is going to take strategic planning and a very different approach for you to have what you need. And I think that your partner might be showing up as these problems. And you know, they need to learn to be dependent. And I think part of the reason why you're struggling with the freedom is because it feels like you might be overly having to support this person and overly having to like take care of them and like do a bunch of like clerical work for them or even parenting, I'm hearing, and that's not great. And that's where this disappointment comes from. Now, is it possible to solve and resolve the situation? I'm going to pull tarot. I think it is, but that other person has to be willing to do that work too. We have the Knight of Wands, which we got for the last pile, which is about making change and taking risks and having shifts. It's very much in the freedom. We have Judgment and the Empress. Yeah, this has got to change, and you've got to be able to be your full self or it's over. And you may not be here yet, but I would guarantee in the next bit of time, you might find yourself there. Also, I feel like I'm missing a card. I know I had it here somewhere, but didn't I had cards for, well, we're going to pull another one. Oh, here it is. This is the one I thought. We have the 10. You know, it may not be now. It might be in a year. I was looking for that for timing. It might be in a year. It might be in a bit of time, but 10 is also the point at which we have to take what we have and go to the next level. And what you have right now isn't allowing you to go to the next level. So you need to have some talks with your partner about your ability to flourish in your relationship and maybe you having to do too much because they're not reliable. Is it possible for them to change? Absolutely. But this is them having to want to shift and change. And if they don't, then you're going to have to step out on your own. Like I said, I think this is a process. I am going to pull one more of these to see if any other guidance. Whew. We have dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. I do still think there are some really lovely, and we have honor and respect will come to you. I do think with the crown, I do think you have a really lovely dynamic with your partner, but there are some things that are not well, and there are some ways in which they have gotten sloppy because they have been putting too much on you and they have been expecting too much from you, and they need to grow up a little bit and they need to step up and start taking on some of the mental and physical load of your relationship, because you deserve to be proud of them. And you deserve to feel respected and honored. So I think for some of you, this is very fixable, but you do have to have the conversation. Therapy might be involved. And you do have to change. And I think your partner, this needs to start with your partner allowing you to go do something for yourself and to take some of the group finances to go take a break and have a spa day or take a little trip with friends, because you have been doing too much and you deserve to be celebrated even for the exploitation that's been happening. But it is possible with this wish for things to change, but you have to approach it from a very analytical perspective and with courage and bravery to say, hey, we need change. How do we change so that both of us get what we deserve in this relationship? Because you are the Empress and you deserve to be seen and valued for who you are and not treated like a servant, honestly. So yeah, this is your reading. You know, it's not impossible. There is room for improvement. There is room to change, but you deserve to have freedom. You deserve to return to a more childlike version of yourself so you're not carrying everything on your own in this dynamic. Anyways, my loves, I hope that this was helpful. I know it was a little tough, but that was what Spirit had to say today. But you deserve to be valued and loved, and if that's not happening, then something's got to give. Anyways, if you want to claim this reading, there's not necessarily a torso in here, but you can put one of the figures with their little hands up if you want to claim this reading with the little wave. And I wish you many blessings, and I also wish you freedom and love and appreciation for those around you, because you deserve to not be disappointed and to not feel alone and abandoned in your connections. And with this one, I'm kind of being drawn to it as I close this out. You know, you do love your partner and you do have a lovely connection, but you need to get back to everybody feeling loved and cared for and not just them. Anyways, my loves, many blessings. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.